Welcome back to Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the podcast of comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw. With me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and joining us in this early part of the show, Mark Deschamps is back with us. What's up? What's up to everybody in the live chat? Thank you for joining us today. It's been a crazy, wet, and wild week. There have been storms over most of these United States, metaphorical and literal. So we are here. This is a Matt show today. It's very... Oh, we lost Matt, but it's a Matt show today.
The timing of that.
Yeah.
Oh
So Matt just dropped out. It's going to be like this today because we are living on a prayer.
On a prayer.
Quite literally. So, yeah, Matt, this is a Matt show. Matt put this together for y'all today because I was surviving this week. Storms and floods and possible tornado dodging. It's been crazy. But shout out to everybody who's here with us in the live chat. Shout out to the people who have the day off. Jacob, Matthew, we see you over there on YouTube. You got the day off because of the weather. We hope everybody is safe and comfortable and just doing something to waste time, like hanging out with us, because you know, that's what we want you to be. We want you to be safe, comfortable, and ready to race time on a Friday. So welcome, everybody. Comic Book Nation. That's my only opening statement. Let's get into it. We've had some big news in gaming this week. Matt, Mark, I know this is what you guys, and Janelle, I'm sorry, Jay, like what you guys have been waiting for this year. Some of our because we did our most anticipated, right? At the beginning of the year. Go back and check that episode, because at the beginning of 2025, we dropped our most anticipated. And now one of our most anticipated events of the year is here. It's Switch 2 time, baby.
We finally
Nintendo. That's my segue.
Direct.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Hype.
How you guys feeling?
So,
what you guys thinking? Mark, you wait. Let's wait. Back up.
Yeah.
Mark's not here for any reason.
All right. I'm not just here randomly.
Inside. Yeah. Go ahead.
I got to play this thing.
I like how you said that so nonchalantly. You were
What
just
did
like,
you play?
for the audio
God.
listeners, like he's just like, yeah, I got to play this thing.
Did you play the
Matt,
cards?
I got to play like everything. I got to play Mario Kart. I got to play Metroid Prime 4. I got to play the new mini games for Super Mario Party Jamboree, Dragon Drive, which is like a new Nintendo IP that's on the way. I got to play. Now I'm like right that Nintendo Switch 2 Home Tour. I think I always butcher the name on that one. So we got to go hands on with a lot of different stuff so far.
I haven't seen this ad, but I mean, whoever Nintendo just did that, like, I see what you did there. Bigger screen, same thickness. I see what you did there, Nintendo. Don't think you're slick. I caught you. Yeah.
We've been watching too much.
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza is another one. We got to play that, which is like a huge deal. It's the first 3D Donkey Kong game. It's the first actual new Donkey Kong game in like over 8 years now, something like 9 years. No, God, 11 years. 11 years is the first like brand new Donkey Kong game that wasn't like a port or a remaster. So, I mean, Nintendo came like ready to show and ready to get people amped to this thing. There's some mixed feelings on things like pricing and stuff, but walked away pretty impressed with my time with it. Like it's a really neat new take on the console. It's still very much a Switch. Like they you know, our live viewers can see, you know, just how much everything is a little bit bigger now and everything seems a little more high quality. And but at the same time, like we're really moving into the new generation. Everything just runs better. Everything looks crisper. We're getting 4K.
So, yeah, live chat. So we got 4K. That all seems good. Here are the things that I'm seeing in the live chat because I'm just coming in. Like I said, I was surviving, so I actually missed the actual presentation of this, and I haven't seen the video until right now. So this is my live reaction. But people, the price, it sounds like the games are going to be more expensive. We're going to go from jump from 60 to around 80 or 90, which, I mean, this has been inevitable in some ways. I feel like I feel like we've held off on this for quite some time, holding at that 60 line. But as games get bigger, more technological, pumped up, I can see that. But it also, I think Nintendo can get away with it because I think they realized somewhere in Switch 1 that like the shelf life of their games is much longer than you think. Like we really only needed one. Yeah, we only needed one Mario Kart, right, for that whole life of the Switch. We never changed, right? We were just all playing the same Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So so if you're paying, I think they just want to get their money up front. Like they're just like, yeah, give me the 80 now. Like, and I know you're not going to buy another Mario Kart, so like just take this and play this forever. Advance. Yeah, and then because now it's about then upgrading the games because you can do that with DLC and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I mean the game is kind of changing. I don't know if I don't think they're wrong about that. I think it's a shrewd bet, but like I think it's once people get adjusted, it's funny how fast people adjust. It's crazy until you pull it off, and then
we've actually already
it's a new model
too. Like games are actually 69.
Right.
Yeah. Most games are 70.
Matthew, stop
already.
It.
Most games are. Most games are $70. And if you want the deluxe or the collectors, you're gonna pay like 80 or 90 already. Like that's been established for like the last few years. And not every Nintendo Switch 2 game is 80, right? Like, and there are ways. Everyone's trying to get that bundle so they can get Mario Kart for $50, right? Because that's the combo deal that if you buy the Switch.
How do we get that?
So like there's two versions of the Switch that are going to launch. There's going to be the $449 version, which doesn't come with any game, and then there's going to be the $299, or I'm sorry, $299. Wishful thinking. The $499 version, which comes with Mario Kart World as like a downloadable game.
Okay. And they're in pre-order phase already, right?
On the 9th, I believe, is the start.
On the 9th.
So
wow. Okay. I gotta remember
see how that goes.
Do you think it's gonna sell out? Like, how do you think
absolutely.
Is it 100%. GameStop? Like, which one do you like? Where are you guys going to purchase yours?
So I went through, like Nintendo has, if you have like a Nintendo account, you can actually like register an interest.
Wait, I do. How do I do this?
So I don't know where
they're going to make it easy for you. Trust me. They'll make it easy for you.
Yeah. There's like a link you can go to and you can say like which version of the system you're interested in buying direct from them when it goes.
That's what I was going to say.
Just Nintendo.com.
It's what I'm curious about right now. Direct to consumer, is that like next holy grail for these businesses where I want to see if they can roll this out direct to consumer and how well they do. How well can you port over the current generation of consumer directly to your next one? Like, forget getting them to bypass all the stops, because it should be easy. If people are immersed in the Switch, like I see our family immersed in the Switch, like, yeah, that ad should start popping up. Get everybody lined up, start getting the money now, and I
haven't seen it, and I should, because I'm literally a creator and I use my.
If they're doing this wrong,
constantly.
I might be changing jobs. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Every company needs to hire you.
Yeah, no, like I mean, yes, but no. I have certain liabilities that come with me, and I understand these things. I've been insured. I know a value to myself, and I know all my liabilities. They gave it to me in a sheet, and I was like, oh man. Nothing like that when you see your liability sheet. Life insurance. That's life insurance stuff. I'm sure.
I don't think you're right about the liability. I think you're right about your point before.
Which one?
I realized I said, I think you're right in the middle of that. No, I think you're right about the like porting over, because this is something that like we always talk about streamers, right? And how they get you into that next thing, right? Like Netflix is supremely good at this. The algorithm, hey, here's how to keep you in their ecosystem. If anyone can do that in the gaming space, it's Nintendo. It's the built-in everything, right? And that's also one of the things I actually enjoyed about the presentation. And it might have been in the main video, or it might have been a separate one, but like they are actually doing some fun things in their online structure that's always been the lagging behind of the other big platforms. And while that it remains to be seen, like if we can get to kind of that Xbox Live because Xbox Live is still kind of the pinnacle of that, right? If we can get to the Xbox Live of that with this generation for Nintendo, that would be great. Because like their little social features, the camera, how it works with the mic, putting the mic and actually trying to make that mic like headset quality in there is going to be interesting. They have this whole thing in the video where they're like, they have someone blending something, I think, in the background, and they're like, the mic can still pick you up. We'll see. Because if anyone's talked on that on the PlayStation controller mic, you know, like it's hit and miss, right? I don't know about that, but the way the camera works, like in the games, I love seeing your little picture, like your actual real-time face next to your characters and like Mario Party and all those things. They're doing some really interesting stuff there. So like if they can bring over as much, like let's say 60% of the Switch users direct and not have to go through third-party stores or third-party platforms or whatever, that would be something that like that would be huge. Like Microsoft and Sony would then be like, like the next time around, like they're taking notes.
But imagine if you could just right now have something pop up and you can, like Mark said, select your version of the thing. Imagine if you could go direct to something, and like the most third party they would have to do is some secure payment for like company to just begin even setting up like your installment plan for how you want to prepay in installments for your thing in the months leading up to release. And then they just, boom, you ship it directly to you from Nintendo. Like, that'd be crazy.
Man. These are all good points, but it also is a way to circumvent resellers, which is the biggest hurdle with, I mean, everything right now. Like, we saw it with PS5 in a big way. Like, I mean, it was impossible to get a PS5 for like 8 months, like 2 years. And now, like, if you're a fan of like the Pokemon trading card game, you can't get.
I was about to say that.
You can't get anything right now.
Nuts! It is so crazy. I go into places and they're like, nah, this lady came in and bought from Five Below. They're like, no, she bought like all the boxes. And I'm like, what are you saying right now? They're like, yeah, she bought all the boxes. And I'm like, me and my disappointed kid are like going back outside. And I did this for an hour and a half one day, 10 stores. And it was insane.
Oh my God.
We did a story on Comic Book about a Costco parking lot fight over Pokemon cards. And like somebody set like the fight to like the music from like the original Game Boy games, which was amazing. And like the sound effects and everything. But it still encapsulates like how bad it is right now. Like there's somebody yelling like, bro, it's Pokemon. But this is everything now. Like every hot ticket item is going to get scooped up by resellers. So any way that like a company can try to circumvent that and make sure it gets into the hands of somebody who wants it is a good thing in my book.
Agreed.
All right. Anybody got any other thoughts?
I did just do the Nintendo. I went through the whole thing and like pre-registered. And it even keeps track of when you pre-register. So like if somebody else pre-registered before you, I guess you're like farther down the list. It says like, this is the date that you submitted this. And then they're like, we'll email you. And I go, well, I've already like blocked all your emails because you were spamming me. So I don't know what to be determined. We'll see what happens.
PBD.
Okay. I love that we got a real time.
Ordering pictures.
I went with the one with the Mario Kart. Yeah,
smart.
Well, actually, that's a perfect segue because the game on screen right now is actually one I'm very curious for. Metroid Prime 4 was one that kind of got its own spotlight. But in talking to Mark a little bit on the side, you came away. I mean, there was some online reactions to that first reveal and stuff. You got some time with it.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
So it's really funny because Nintendo had a direct a week before the Switch 2 direct, and they exclusively focused on Switch 1 games. And like Nintendo has this thing where if they announce that a game is coming to one system, they're very stubborn about like it's still going to come to that system and like the next one. Like they did this with Twilight Princess. It was a GameCube game and a Wii game, but they made sure it came out on both. So when they had that Switch 1 direct a week ahead of time, they showed Metroid Prime 4 on the original Switch, and everybody kind of went, okay, this doesn't look great. Like this has been in development for a really long time. It was development totally got rebooted. Everybody's been waiting. And like, I didn't think it looked terrible, but I think a lot of people were underwhelmed. And then it was in the Switch 2 direct. They confirmed that it's going to have a Switch 2 version. I did not expect there to be hands-on, because I feel like this is going to be like a late year game. We don't have a release date yet, but I'm thinking it's got to be sometime in the fall. So when it was on display, like I ran to the demo station for this. And I'm telling you right now, Matt, this game blew me away. This is the best looking game I think I've ever seen Nintendo publish.
Wow.
It looks stunning. And I don't think any trailer has done any justice to how good this game looks. It kind of felt a little Halo-y in that, like, when it begins, like it's very clearly like the opening sequence of the game. She's, Samus gets sent like there's a distress call from the Galactic Federation, and they're getting overwhelmed by space pirates, and she's coming in on the ship, and like they're fighting and getting like wiped out by these Metroid controlled space pirates. And you get in, and I mean, the action is just going on all around you. Like, people are getting wiped out, and it just looks beautiful. And like, the gameplay is still very Metroid. Like, it's not like, we're seeing it change to like a full first person shooter. But I was just so surprised how impressive everything looked. The boss, we got a boss fight in there. This was just a really impressive game. It may have been the best game I played at the show, which is mind blowing because I played Mario Kart World, which was also incredible.
It looks beautiful. It's a
I'm
shooter.
Feeling
right?
like I'm gonna get that Super Metroid vibe all over again. The first time I put that in and started playing, and then I was like, oh wait, what happened to Saturday? Yeah, let's go. Let's get back to it. Yeah, it is kind of feeling like Halo influenced, but I need my Halo Season 3, so this can be that.
Oh man,
right
there with you.
So
right
sad.
I love seeing that, like the ball, like just the ball rolling alone has me. I can't wait to get back to ball rolling in true 3D and having a good time. So, all right.
I'm excited about Donkey Kong personally, but I am a Donkey Kong-aholic. I literally just did I'm doing my playthrough right now. I'm doing Donkey Kong Country 3 for the Super Nintendo. So it's
nice.
I'm very excited, but I actually never played the 3D 64 Donkey Kong, open world. And so I feel like I'm gonna struggle.
So have you played Super Mario Odyssey?
I have. I like it a lot, but there's just the thing that I think I love the most about Donkey Kong Countries, and this is not that, but is the scrolling side scroller thing. It's just that retro vibe. I love that. I love that was in Tropical Freeze and DK Country Returns. So we'll see. It'll be funny. I'll play it on stream and make a fool of myself and probably suck.
This is definitely Bonanza is definitely different, and this is one of those things that if you've ever written about games is so frustrating because they always have these words that are slightly misspelled, and your spell check is melting down because it's banana, but it's bonanza, but it's banana.
That's so funny because a coin with a K and oh my
Mortal
gosh,
Kombat,
yes,
these little things like that. But I walked away. That was probably my third favorite game at the show.
Oh wow, the tunneling looks crazy.
Yeah, it looks a lot of fun. It's hard because it's it's a 3D game, so each of these games you get 20 minutes with ish. So it's hard to get a really good feel for it. But it definitely seemed like there's some challenge. One thing that was cool in the trailer, and we didn't actually get to experience this, is there are going to be some 2D sections. There was one little clip that showed a take on the original Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that we're going to see.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're at least going to get some little segment.
I'm turning 40 this year, and now I'm actually excited about my life. So thank you, Nintendo. And thank you, Thunderbolts.
Let's clap for 40. I'm gonna have a Dirt Champs moment right now. Let's clap for 40.
Guys.
Let's clap for 40.
Y'all are my supportive team because I'm the oldest of most of my gal pals, so I appreciate it. Anyways, I'm so excited about this. I just you have built the hype more than I was so hyped, but then listening to you, Mark, talk about this, I'm just, oh my God, I'm so excited.
like I said, they really came for this. Like they brought out the big guns. They have like quirky, weird stuff, which is what you kind of expect from Nintendo. And then they have a new Donkey Kong, which we haven't seen in forever. They have Mario Kart, which we haven't had like a legit new Mario Kart in so long. And like I said, Metroid blew me away, and it's gonna be a pretty stacked first year. And like I said, I totally understand, the reservations about price. I don't think the console price itself is that bad. All things considered, I was hoping for $399 for the base price and expecting $449 as as a distinct possibility. So when they actually announced it, I'm like, okay, that's in line. They had to come in under 500, in my opinion. So I think it's a good thing that they did, but I definitely get the software concerns. 80 it's a lot, but it's Mario Kart. So they clearly know their audience. They know that Mario Kart's going to sell.
I've been playing Mario Kart for like 10 years or something, like the same one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. They realized like the resale, like they sold that game and then like that was it.
And the DLCs were so great. Like,
yeah. And listen, I don't want to be like, I don't want to encourage people to get rid of their games or anything. But one of the things about Nintendo games is they do retain their value a lot. And like, you want a new Mario Kart, you're probably gonna get $30 if you trade in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like,
and also like all of the games can come over, right, with you from the Switch to the Switch 2.
Yeah, so they're already saying that there are some games that are there's like a whole list of games that are going to only work with the old Joy-Cons.
Okay.
There's a list of games that they're like investigating issues with, which are mostly live service games.
Okay.
Like Dead by Daylight was on there, Stumble Guys, I think Fall Guys.
Oh, no, not Fall Guys.
But I assume that these are all things that are going to get, figured out in the next couple months. So yeah, they have a whole big list, and I assume that'll shrink a little bit. And then there's like weird things like the Labo cardboard stuff, because like the new Joy-Cons won't fit in those. So for the most part, like I would think something like 90%, 95% of games are going to work on this.
Awesome. Oh, I'm excited.
And there's going to be upgrades. Like one thing that was cool is we got to go hands-on with Breath of the Wild, which is getting an upgrade. And not only is it getting an upgrade, but if you have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, their upgrades are going to be free. They're going to be included with that.
Oh, nice.
Just like with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you got like the DLC courses in your bundle. You're going to get those for free. So they already perform better and the graphics are sharper. So there's going to be some things like that.
It's mentioned in the comments.
Yeah, twice. Battery life.
Yeah.
But here, I got a hot take on this. It could be a grenade. I'm okay with it being less. I think, number one, clearly Nintendo is moving this from the portable carry-all, like let's go around with it version of this console to being your entertainment center. Like the dock is 4K, like all of that. They want this to be in your living room on the big screen, be the centerpiece. I think they're trying to get it back to more like in that. I think they're trying to hit a sweet spot between the GameCube and the Switch in terms of GameCube was your centerpiece. Like that was everybody come to the living room, get together, play a game like on the TV. Whereas Switch was more for like, hey, we're all emo now. Let's go in our corners and play games and not talk to each other, but we'll game together. Like, and so I think we're going for kind of more of a middle ground. I also don't mind this as a parent, I've learned, because battery life can be your enemy. Let that thing die, because then they have nothing to say. Now you have to come away. Now you have to come outside and touch grass, little nerd. So get your ass outside. So let that thing die after 6 hours. I'm perfectly from 2 to 6. Sounds great to me. Recharge, take a break, go outside, or we'll play together or something. Like, but I don't need you in the corner for too long anymore.
I mean, that's actually, it's funny. Like I very much like we ascribe to the whole thing of like, oh, it's dead. Okay, well, that means we just need to go do something else. I'll charge it. We'll charge it for next time or for tomorrow or whatever. But like, we got I mean, every household I feel like is this now, but like we have like 90 devices in here that need to be charged, right? Between phones and tablets and like controllers and all that stuff. It's insane.
Then they get older, and then it becomes a plug hunt constantly. The plug hunt is my favorite.
Yeah,
you know,
every night
like
it's
headphones
plug hunt.
and even mice, right? Like some of those have to be like everything has to be charged. So the fact that like it's always a thing of every so often Emma will be like, oh, can I use my tablet? And she's, you know, like it doesn't come up all the time, but like sometimes like, can I use my tablet? And I'll look and it's like the red is like, ah, crap, I forgot to charge this. Well, let's go play a board game, or let's go do this, or let's go do whatever, right? So like I very much am like, hey, we'll charge it now, but it might be dead over there because it's been sitting there for a month and you know you didn't use it. I don't view this as, look, if you want more power and you want more, I think it does enough to kind of justify the, hey, we were going to take a hit on the battery life. But if it does enough to still, you know, it's not 30 minutes, right? It's not an hour, right? So like if it does enough to warrant that, I think it's like it's okay. And this one, I mean, from the game comparisons and stuff, even the screen, like I was watching that someone was doing like a side-by-side comparison of like just the brightness and the like crispness of the OLED screens is like different, and how much prettier things are looking on this, how much power. I'm okay with that, like as long as it's decent. And I do think that they are kind of going for, I agree with Kofi on the fact that like this one feels, you can still take it places and you'll still see people with their Switches out and about, but this one actually, I mean, what I feel like they discovered with the first Switch was that while a lot of people used it out and about, there was a big chunk of people that only had it docked. And I think that surprised them, because I think they included the dock as a, hey, look, you can do it on your TV too. And I don't think they anticipated how many people just stuck that thing in there and just like, nope, we're good. I'm not ever moving my Switch from my dock. And then also just the fact that you're in the same house. It is very much the, hey, someone's using the TV, let me play on the couch, or let me play over here. You're still in the same room or the same house and you're playing your game. So it doesn't leave that radius, I think, as much as Nintendo even probably predicted. And so I think this one fits that, right? Because if I'm in the house near a charger, what does it matter?
It's interesting
it's okay
that you said, because like obviously like they have a couple like new features that are like very clearly playing up like the at-home thing, like, you know, the camera and then the mouse controls. Like theoretically, like you can do mouse controls anywhere, but like it's gonna be hard if you're portable to be using like a mouse controller, you know, in an airport or on a plane, or, you know, you're gonna kind of need to do that at home. So yeah, that makes a little sense.
I also think they learned from the sales of the kind of Switch Lite or whatever they called it. The other ones, the ones that were fixed, that were just
the Lite,
yeah. And so I think the sales of that really told them something too, because it was telling them that like the people who want the portability, or the parents, they're not going to go buy those Joy-Cons that are $100 a piece and all that. Because I didn't throw that to my kids immediately. I'm throwing it to them now and say, now go do whatever you want because the life is done. And I'm like, we're getting ready for the Switch too. So now I just let them do whatever. But I was actually like safeguarding. I'm like, this is actually a complex machine. And once one of them broke the first lock on my controller, I was like, all right, like we're going to be very controlled.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. So I should probably keep my Switch, like my original Switch for my kiddo. Because I was going to say, this is going to be the first console that my child ever plays. And that is insanely emotional for me. Like, as I'm getting on this waiting list, I'm like, oh my God, this is the first console that my child
No, keep your first one. You need a dummy. You need a dummy console so they can do whatever. Especially when they first... There's going to be a point where he sees you playing it and he wants to be you, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. And that's when you need a dummy Switch. Yeah.
That's awesome. Kofi, did you say the lock on your Joy-Con broke?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The first thing my kid did was just rip that thing right off. And I was like, oh.
But that happened to me too. Like I dropped my console, like walking out of the house one day, and that little piece of plastic like broke. So it couldn't stay hooked in. And that's actually one of the cooler things about Switch 2. Like they very clearly learned. Somebody in the chat was asking about the Joy-Cons, and like they have like they're held together by magnets now. So you're not going to have that problem anymore where, you know, it can't slide in, you know, you break this little tiny piece of plastic that keeps in place. The new Joy-Cons are really impressive. They feel bigger. They feel a little bit bulkier. It feels like a higher quality product. Like if you throw somebody a Joy-Con, like it feels flimsy. This feels a little sturdier, which is good because like some of the mouse control games, you know, you're really going at these things. So you probably need a little bit more heft. We played that Dragon Drive, which is like the wheelchair basketball inspired game. And I mean, like you really had to like go at it with like the two Joy-Con mice. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm like, man, I don't know if I had to like switch switch Joy-Cons if they would survive me like doing this.
Crumble the dust in your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Thanos, right? Yeah, all right. I mean, so that sounds good. Everything sounds good. It's promising. I think we're gonna see a mixed bag, but I'm also very curious what they're gonna do with it if they do a Switch 2 Lite and what that entails, and like what features they lose when they up the portability and the solid frame and all that. Like, you know, that kind of knocks off the 4K. What else does that knock off? That'll be interesting to see. All right, I think we've done it. I think we've done 30 minutes talking about Switch 2.
Dang, man.
This is the craziest gaming segment we might ever have on this show. So
as it should be. I'm just kidding.
As it should be. No, most anticipated. One of the most anticipated events of the year. Mark, did you have any parting thoughts since you got to be the guy who was hands-on that you want to share with the people?
No, I'm just excited for more. I mean, it was a really cool event. It was a great opportunity to go hands-on with this thing and all these different games, and I just want more. And that's always a good thing when you walk away and you're not sick of the thing that you were playing. That's always a good thing.
All right. Thank you, Mark, for coming on. Thank you for your time out in the field handling the Switch 2. You can cover everything that he thought and the gaming team's impressions over on Comic Book Gaming, where they'll be rolling out all kinds of Switch 2 content. So
we'll have a lot more.
Yep, be over there, get all the latest facts and all you need to know and impressions. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
We are going to keep it moving over from gaming to movies because, I mean, little known fact this week, but while we were surviving and while Nintendo was eating up the spotlight, there was also this little thing called CinemaCon that's been going on. So CinemaCon is happening, and even though we didn't attend this year, we actually have been steadily keeping an eye on some of the bigger things that have come out of it. And, what's always fun about these things is while there's things happening at the convention, there's people in other places reacting to get their own PR moments out of this. And so it's been a little uptick in some media this week. So let's get into it. We didn't assign anybody this. So
no,
just take it. We'll react.
Yeah. You want to take the first one?
I mean, well, sure. I was literally pulling everything up because I was kind of live reacting to these announcements and trying to do the thing that you professionals do that I don't do, where you sit on Twitter and you basically wait for like updates from, awesome sites and full descriptions of trailers and things like that. I did that during the Disney portion, so I feel really well versed on that one.
I can take Superman if you want.
Yeah, you take Superman. I'm gonna take them.
Yeah, I'm watching this for the first time. Like I said, I've been surviving.
Okay, so the Superman, they did a rollout where they actually revealed kind of a full clip, and it's mostly an extension of the crypto scene that is kind of now famous from the original trailer. It's the moment where Superman crashes down in the snow and he's hurt, and good boy Crypto comes and kind of pulls him back home, right? Well, we actually get to see the extended part of that, and we actually see like the first look at the Fortress of Solitude,
and the sound
amazing. Oh my god, the sound in this and the way there's been a lot of thought clearly put into like the little things, right? Like how the Fortress of Solitude, we actually see it like move and shift to accommodate the sun, because at this point, like he needs, Superman needs to be healed. We see what was originally thought to be, Kellex the robot, his kind of robot helper. Well, we see that there's obviously multiples of them, and they're all kind of assigned different numbers. And what I love is that in this scene we actually get to see like parts of their personalities come out. They're all different. They all like the way they're reacting. It's kind of this there's a lot more
like,
lighthearted humor.
Him while he's down.
I know.
It's so
there's a lot
funny.
more lighthearted humor to this than what initially seemed.
Yeah,
right from the
straight up dog stuff.
Yeah,
it's great, right? Because of course, like, I want to play, right? And he's like, you're hurting me, like I'm hurting.
Oh yeah, and he has no idea. I mean, yeah, but because he has no idea, but it makes a certain like I can see the logic of the scene. It's pretty good. Like he has no idea that he's like vulnerable and hurt now. He thinks he's still super. He's like, I haven't seen you in a while. I want to play. Like it's some dog stuff. Straight up.
And he's like,
you're like, oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, I mean, same thing with children.
Oh my
like,
god, I love him. I want a crypto.
And then he's like, okay, I'll do my job, right? And by the way,
that was my whole point when we were arguing. Like, we got to wait. This is today's grenade. We got to stop right here. Remember when we first did the trailer? You were upset that it wasn't like a Labrador, like in the comics.
I mean,
and
I still like things to kind of match the comics.
I know, but I was
more.
Like, based on your love of Yondu, I would think this version of Crypto would be like right up your alley, and you would be like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, just dogs in general, right?
Yeah, I mean, Yondu seems like he has crypto energy.
Yondu is a brat. Yondu is Stitch. Okay, he is Stitch from the live action Lilo and Stitch. He's a little S word. I curse. He's a little shit. Like he is so.
We get one. Yeah,
he's such a jerk, man. But I love him to death.
Yeah, man.
And so
he's the one that goes.
So I love these guys. These guys are great. Like I love this all the interactions between them as they're like carrying him in, right? And what I do love here too is that like while it is it's like a serious scene, but there's this level of, hey, we've done this before, right? It's not the first time we've done this. They know the drill. They know where to go, like take him to get healed. Like this is all stuff that has kind of happened before, right? And so I just love that there's this like layer. Everything in the trailer kind of initially seemed kind of like dire, right? He lands and you're like, oh my god, what happened to him? And this just really like recontextualizes a lot of that for you. We get to kind of see a little bit more, but like the way the fortress moves,
dude, it's
so cool. I thought that was such it's such a neat like thing, and obviously it also makes sense, right? Because again, this is a experienced Superman. We're coming in mid-career here or into his career. It's not a year one type of thing. So like they've done this before. There's logical thinking behind a lot of these. So anyway, there's a little more footage, but most of that footage is stuff we've seen for the most part, maybe like a little bit extended here and there, but that was kind of the big clip they showed for Superman. You two with the live reactions, what do you guys think?
Oh man, this built the hype for me so much more because I really got a sense of like what it's about, and there isn't like music covering everything. And like you said, it feels like there's a little bit of humor to it. It's not as serious, and that actually makes me really happy because I'm kind of in that like state of mind. Like anything too heavy, for example, a show that Kobe said was watching. Adolescence. I was like, oh, I'll check it out. I watched the trailer. I was like, nope. Like, I'm just looking for happy stuff.
I specifically told you.
I wanted to try.
I watched it for the podcast and immediately screened it out. It was like, no, I'm not going to do this to you.
For you.
Oh my god!
But I'm very excited.
Episode 3, like, oh man, that show really messed me up. I wish I hadn't watched that. I was just sitting there, like, my wife saw me sitting in the dark last night, and she was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like,
"No."
No,
the tornadoes in this.
Yeah, like, it's really but that's a good mini segue into adolescence. I will say great show, phenomenally acted, but I can't. When you start thinking about all of it and like what it's saying, it's a very deep, complex show about like parenting and toxic masculinity and all these other things that go on. And I'm at a place right now trying to raise a 6-year-old kid today, and I was like, this is not what I needed to see. And episode 3 haunted me forever. And the young actor who plays the son, like, awesome. Stephen Graham as the father, awesome. But no, we're not going to do that. So let's just all forget that I saw Adolescence and keep moving, because Janelle, I'm not kidding. And it wasn't just the subject matter about like kids and a son on trial and that, like this it would have killed your ADD because it's tracking shots. So most of the show is following one character with the camera, just like wherever they're going, whatever they're doing for like that entire episode, and it never leaves. Some of them are just like take tracking shots. And also there's one whole episode that's about the high school and all the kids in the high school. And I was like, Janelle would crash out so hard on this show. So yeah, we just we skipped over that one because it hit like I said, it was like focus group. It was like everything you hate. It was
what
like,
do you think of the Superman instead?
Superman,
that's hopeful.
It's giving
right?
me adolescence vibes.
Yeah.
Total adolescence vibes.
I agree.
No, I'm just kidding. No, don't agree with that. I was just bullshit. Like that was just me bullshit.
I'm
don't agree
bullshitting
with
you.
that. Yeah, no, it's good because it has, like you said, it's quirky. It kind of shows off. It shows off the kind of Frank, like if Grant Morrison, Frank Quigley of it all. There are these like kind of, it's very immersive. This scene has like a lot of personality. It feels lived in. I think that's the difference. We're not like in a different movie. This would be like presenting all of this to you in this grand thing. Like, hey, you're seeing this for the first time. We have to do these establishing shots. Yeah. There's a kind of mechanics to all this that's telling you a bunch of stories at once. Like, you know, how established Superman is, Crypto going there, just barking once, them recognizing his bark, the technology of the thing, this mix of the kind of Donner stuff, plus some kind of steampunk elements with the, you know, the mirror focusing and that idea, the fortress rotating to the sun. There's all these things that are very kind of telling you stories upon stories with these little moments, but it's very immersive. And it looks like Gunn has really went kind of full Colonel Kurtz in a cave, mapping out this whole world, its mythos, its history, where Superman is in all this, and dropping us in this in media res. So it's interesting. And it's interesting they picked this clip because I think it also quells some of the anxieties and concerns and criticisms that people were having about, oh, it's going to be a weak Superman. It's like, no, this is just a minor plot point that he got hit with something he didn't expect. And he's got to deal with that and get back out there. But it's not like.
So you bring up reactions, by the way. I typically, for the most part, I pretty much stay away from Twitter now, because of stuff like this, like stuff that
Twitter's not reality.
It has been awful, right? So, but that whole thing of that, like tying any excuse to tie something to like he's a weak Superman or this and that has been just like horrendous. I don't understand it, right? But what I do agree with you on is that this, so like the first Superman trailer I really liked, right? And we talked about it here. We have a whole reaction to it that you can check out on Comic Book Nation's YouTube as well on our whole podcast platforms on audio. But like that trailer, I tried to get Ember to watch that trailer. And like it was too much for her. Like that part where like he hits and he's bleeding and stuff.
Yeah,
you know, it's like she's young, right? And so it was like too much. Like, oh, I don't want to see that, Dad. Like, I'd rather see this over here, right? So I was like, okay. And then when this came out and this clip was longer and also gives you context of like, hey, look, he's okay, right? You can then say, look, he's okay. Look at how the dog's reacting. Look at that. All of that stuff. She watched the entire clip, all of it, and liked the little robots, right? Liked all the stuff and was in it, and then was like, I like that. And I was like, okay, that's a huge difference because like I get it, Superman's for us nerds and everything, but I hate to break it to you, this is all for the kids. Like the kids are the most important part of this because if you don't get kids excited about Superman, right? It was like that Ben Affleck comment where he was talking about playing Batman, and he was like realizing when he talks about like, you know, I kind of realized there might be a problem when like I think it was his daughter was like, no, I don't. Batman's too scary. I don't want to watch that. And he's like, oh, that's a problem.
Shout out to the comments on this trailer. Shout out to the comments on this trailer by Jansen Han 5987. Batman, do you bleed? Superman, absolutely, yes.
Oh my God! Please, someone please like recreate that. That would be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
But yeah, like that. So there's a lot going on here, and I think this was the right I think this was the right clip to release as far as tone, as far as showing like, hey, we're also not taking things too serious, but it provided a lot of context, I feel like, and welcome context. So this got me more excited. But this wasn't the only big superhero thing that debuted. That one we don't have footage for.
I just want to say also, this was a good testament to the range that Corin Sweat's going to bring in this role. Like, there's a lot when you begin to look at all the scenes in this trailer, from when he's like vulnerable and screaming in this clip to, you know, the goofy Clark stuff, to when he's very serious with Jonathan Kent and that emotional stuff, or like when he's with Lois, it's like, this is going to be a very multifaceted, complex Superman. But it's also going to be a very fun, whimsical world at the same time. Like you said, this is Superman at his lowest point, presumably. And there's still a lot of whimsy and fun and fantastical stuff around this. So I think we're going to get that Donner heart and soul, but like for the first time in a more fantastical DC world, like on screen, which is what we haven't had. Like we've never had that combination come together in a Superman movie. So I'm excited. This one gave me a little bit of feels. I like this. I like the little sizzle reel at the end, even though it was a lot of the same stuff. It gives you, it's funny how they replay a lot of the same stuff, but now that you've seen this clip, you feel like a little bit more confident.
Attached to it.
So, yeah.
That's how I feel.
Right. What else is up?
How are we feeling about Fantastic Four? I honestly feel like I didn't get as much with this, besides obviously like Silver Surfer.
Did they release it?
Huge. And then
so they released a new clip, which I forgot to link, so that's my fault, Rich. Sorry.
Okay, I couldn't find it though. I'm Googling it.
That clip came out like late last night, I believe. And now that was it was like a new trailer, but it essentially has the extended part of a delightful scene where in the trailer Thing is cooking with Herbie.
He asks.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so that whole scene is extended a little bit, but it's not very long. So it's not like a big giant scene. The footage they showed at CinemaCon has not made it out yet. Which is kind of insane because it features our first look at Silver Surfer.
Yes.
Evidently she looks awesome from what I've heard. There were actually several scenes evidently played for the audience that showcase her and kind of her warning to the Fantastic Four about Galactus and things like that. People are kind of showcasing that kind of classic design that are like, hey, this is pretty one-to-one, but again, that footage has not made it out, which I'm like, oh, come on. I want to see it.
But it is confirmed. It is confirmed that she's pregnant.
Vanessa
Kirby's pregnant in it.
We were right.
We could tell by
that
can't waddle.
Fool me anymore. Yeah, nobody
that
can
waddle,
fool us
man.
anymore. You can do all the CGI.
I know the
cuts
pregnant waddle very well. And then the Silver Surfer thing. I honestly, like, I'm having a hard time finding this stuff, like, as kind of like the person that didn't attend it. So I'm actually not as hyped about it because they're not giving me a chance to be. Like, I'm more hyped about Thunderbolts with, like, I saw their intro of how they came in this like beat up limo from the movie, and it was a hilarious like WWE style entrance. It was crazy and it was so funny. I was cracking up. And I'm more excited about Thunderbolts because of that. Like, it was just such good marketing and like the cast talking, and it was just very well done. So
I like how you just I liked how you just used this to get yourself some CinemaCon invites next year. That was good.
Yeah. I should have been there. I should have been there.
Yeah, you're like, I can't talk about it because I'm not in the room, right? But if I was in the room, I could have talked about it, right, Marvel?
Oh man,
like, I see what you did there. That was nicely done. Nicely done. I like it. All right. Yeah, it's not on Twitter. You guys are slipping, internet. Reddit, where you at? Get this stuff up. We're trying to see this Fantastic Four.
I'm amazed. Like, I've seen so much leak out of CinemaCon and just conventions in general, right? They show something to the audience, at least like a 15-second clip or something on, pops up. So nothing. I was like, okay, that's impressive. It's it won't last forever though.
No.
And we will see Silver Surfer.
I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Anything else from CinemaCon? I think I was, for me, I was very interested. Was this CinemaCon? Oh, I got to be careful what I'm revealing here. We know too much has happened. Was all was the Predator stuff at CinemaCon?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Because we have some of our own stuff on that. I don't want to spoil any of our embargoes or step on our toes. All right. But the Predator Badlands and kind of getting that and finding out what else they're doing with the franchise this year, that got on my radar. I was very interested in that. Badlands is crazy. That's not at all what I expected for a Predator movie. So now, like I said, gentlemen, you have my interest. Like, I'm very much waiting to see like what this is going to be when we do a whole movie. I can't believe they're going to finally introduce the Yatja, I think their name are, as the actual Predator species name. We just call them the Predators, but having a movie about just them is pretty wild. And I can't wait to see how that goes. And kind of, I like the animated concept that we're going to get like anthology tales about different warriors taking on predators. I think like what is the first one we heard was like a Viking one or something like that. Something crazy. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. And on the horror front, we got more.
Oh gosh.
Freddie Prinze, Jennifer Love Hewitt. We going back. Matt, we are so back, baby. We are so back.
God, why did you ruin it?
You said it. You got all hyped. You were ready. We are so back.
You know what though? I am excited for that. That is like just completely in my wheelhouse. That and Scream were like just those were the two, right? I'm not a big horror person, but those were the two that like were just in that moment in time. I am excited for that one. I'm excited for that one. That was
Kendrick's bringing back the 2000 genes. Our late 90s horror movies are coming back. It's time, baby. Let's go.
Pogs are back.
What's that?
Like for real. I'm not even kidding. Pogs are back. There's like 2 companies bringing back Pogs.
Pogs? Saying, like actual Pogs?
Like the little slammers?
I still have mine. I have all of my Pogs, my slammers. I got everything.
It's all coming back. I'm going to get a starter jacket and I'm going to get the little like the little clips and
go. Wait, send me that link. I want it. I'm serious. Yeah. Let's go.
So there's so much. Also, I did want to Janelle mentioned Disney. Did you want to mention anything from the Disney?
I loved the Lilo and Stitch. Like, I just thought it was like so adorable, and I'm just falling in love with Stitch more and more because he is my dog. And that was great. As I said, Thunderbolts just stole my heart. So freaking funny, and I just love them. Those were my 2 moments. Oh, how cute. Those were my 2 that I was really excited about. I was live, like watching it live, and someone put up a Doctor Strange 3 like troll, and I about cried. And then
was that on April 1st? Did you get
no? But I'm of course I almost cried, and then I was like, no. They even wrote like the description, like, oh, it's turning out where it's going to be about Cleo and Doctor Strange, and I was like, what? Like,
that's so rude. That's so why'd you do that? Like, if someone put out a cardiac thing or a Darkhawk movie,
like,
I would be so
of the
pissed.
Artwork and everything. It was so messed up.
Couple things to mention that happened. First screening of How to Train Your Dragon live action popped off and it's getting rave reviews. People are saying like it is crazy good and it's gonna light it up. So
they greenlit the sequel already.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see that. Beyond the Spider-Verse has a release date. That was interesting because it's coming after kind of the whole Marvel MCU multiverse saga stuff. So I'm very interested how that goes and like what's happening with that. What else? There was another, what else? I just had this. Oh, y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, jump out of nowhere to the top of my list for things I got to see this year. Megan 2.0.
Oh God.
Megan 2.0. Did you watch that trailer?
Yes.
No.
How crazy is that? How insane! It's a T. They're doing T2 with Megan, and I was like, oh man. I was like, this is so stupid. I got to. I
maybe
have
one
to.
day I'll get good at horror.
Oh no, but, man.
Okay. I think you could.
Is it like comedy horror?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. This is not.
I think
serious.
you could handle Megan.
I could handle
like,
Megan.
If you watched it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it for Halloween next year.
Yeah, it's very good about, I mean, especially now that you're a parent, it's very funny because that's what it is. It's about like parenting and like the extremes we're trying to go to put our kids in, like, and well, not even with toys, but just to get like not have to parent them. So we give them screens, but now we can get AI companions to them, but like how that all goes wrong, you know, it's funny. This one looks all bonkers. If you don't know, spoilers, it's a new kind of killer robot gets built, so they got to bring Megan back to take her out, and it's T2, and then they got to break
That's amazing.
And they've put her in this like little toy.
They trapped her in a little toy, so they got to build her a new body. But of course, she's Megan. She's a bad bee. She needs a taller, older, like more badass body, and so they build her a bigger body so that she can go to war with this other AI robot. But you know, they could double cross everybody, so
it sounds crazy.
It is insane.
Awesome.
Yeah,
there's a scene where Megan, there's a flight scene where Megan does a Tom Cruise flight suit into like she's trying to infiltrate a place, like a facility. And so she does a Tom Cruise jump off like a dam and does a flight suit sequence. Yeah, we going full stupid. We're going full stupid.
Oh my God. And in the comments, yes. The soundtrack. So Anissa was watching this trailer first. Like I hadn't seen it yet. And all I hear is like the music, and I'm like, what are you watching? So like I come in there and she's watching Megan and watching the Megan trailer. I was like, what on earth is happening here? And then we watched the rest of it. I was like, oh my God, this is dope. Yeah, this is a new horror franchise that I fully endorse. The first one's bonkers, and it's, you know me, Janelle, I'm not a horror person. I'm like you. I don't really do horror, but if you're gonna do horror, you know, like there's a like I'm also don't have the stomach for like some of the Terrifier stuff where it goes so far and like the goriness. This is not like that. Like, yeah, there's gory scenes and there's stuff, but like it's just more bonkers than anything, and I enjoy that. Like that you can keep me hooked for that. So yeah, this one, I apologize, I'm very excited for this.
Today's grenade being Megan. Yeah,
you never know.
But, you never know where it's going to come from. But that was just more stuff to come out of CinemaCon that I just want to acknowledge that that is happening. So, all right, we could keep it moving. Let's take a quick break. Come back, talk TV and talk comics. We are so back, so let's talk TV. Oh, Daredevil Born Again, episode 7. We are coming down the back half of Daredevil Born Again. This was the we put in the wrong trailer. You can cut that trailer. That's from episode 5 and 6. So the episode 7, this was the showdown with Muse, and kind of bringing that whole thing to a head. What did you guys think? This was, and like I said, I my whole take was last week was they released a 2-episode batch because episode 5 was a standalone that really encapsulated what I think they wanted to do with this show originally. And then episode 6, I said, was the one where I felt like we shifted fully back into this more of a being more of a spiritual successor to the Netflix series just set within the MCU. And so in episode 7, this is the first one. I remember watching the screenings and now rewatching it here, where I was like, okay, yeah, this is the first time we're out of the jumbled trying to mine the old show, and I feel like we're stepping in fully to the new show for the first time. Like, this is the first episode where like, okay, we're under this new direction. This is what it is. And we get the more Netflix violent, dark, kind of scary Daredevil where you're like legitimately worried about Heather and like what's going on there and, you know, all of that and Matt's fight. But Kingpin getting back to his ways, and you know, this felt like the Netflix one. So I was, and while people have been criticizing Muse, I'm glad, because I don't think Muse is a character we need. Like the over-explaining villains thing that we started in the 2000s, I really hate. Like, I like a scary villain who's just a killer and is scary. And it's just like, that's about it. And I think they did a good enough job of kind of floating that kid like in an earlier episode. And if you watched Wednesday, you're like, wait, that kid's a weirdo. Like, he's a weirdo and everything. Like, but forgetting about him long enough that you didn't make most people didn't make the connection. Then he shows back up and you're like, uh-oh. And then, so I like this episode, but that was me. What'd you guys think?
Janelle?
Oh my gosh, dude. This show has just stolen my heart. I'm so obsessed with it. This episode was so intense. And just like finally like fearing Fisk, like at the end of this episode. And is he coming after his wife? Like, obviously, I think it's pretty obvious that he does know what she's doing behind his back. And he's just so freaking scary. And I'm so happy that I'm starting to get that again, because I feel like it was like a slow build, because he's trying so hard to be mayor and do the right thing and, you know, be like respected and all this. And now it's about to get dirty. And I've heard that episode 8 is like the very best in the entire like first season. So this just built so much hype for me, and definitely has me very, very, very pumped about what's ahead. I will say, like, I do think that it's not as intense as the Netflix series, but to me, it's perfect. Like, I love where we're at. Personally.
I told you guys to strap in, and I told you at the very first episode, I did not make any qualms. I said Disney gave us the full run because they wanted me to make the sell, and I said just strap in. It takes a while to build up, but by the end of this,
I'm pretty grossed out about Muse and like the way that he like takes the blood and stuff. It like grosses me out.
Strap
so
in. If you think this is still MCU tame, strap in for the next 2. We're gonna talk next week, because next week you're gonna be like, even the Netflix show didn't go like this hard.
Oh God. Okay.
Wait till you see. Last 2.
Vincent said.
Yeah. No. Last 2. Y'all gonna be talking that Netflix-ish no more. You're gonna be like, oh, and that Disney-ish, you're not gonna be talking that no more either. You're gonna be like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, we'll go there. Yeah. We good. Yeah. Yup, it's gonna get real. Like, it gets real. And I can't wait for your follow-up. If you've talked to Vincent after the season, I would love to see where you start.
We should bring him on the show.
You were worried about Kingpin, like you all been worried about all the wrong things, y'all. So yeah, let's strap in. I can't wait. I'm pumped for the last run of Daredevil. I really have been waiting here, because I love just seeing the hate and the doubt and knowing. I like when I have the knowledge and I could just let people play themselves and just talk that talk and yeah. Bap, 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 bap. And then at the end, we'll come back and revisit. All right. So,
oh, dude, I love it.
Speaking of things boiling over and coming to a head, White Lotus. We're getting to that season finale. Let's hear the theories. Who do you think pops off? Who do you think is going to take that gun, and who's firing those shots we hear?
I don't know. I feel like it might be the security guard.
That's my theory. I think the security guard fired enough. I think there's a boiling kind of subplot to this whole season about
Lisa from Blackpink is like sleeping with one of those bad guys or something.
Yeah. But
Blackpink.
But I think the subtext of this season has all been like, what are the Thai people do? Like, how does this all like roll over the actual Thai people for whom these people are coming in and doing all this crazy stuff in their on top of their culture? And I think they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to see some cultural pushback. These guys are like literally looting and doing stuff. And I think Homeboy's going to finally bubble over. I think that speech with his crush when she was talking about, I thought because he was like, I don't want to be violent. And he was saying something, and that crushed me, man. That crushed me because he said something very like the most spiritually strong thing in this whole show. He's like, it's him and the what's her name, Rick's girlfriend, that are like, the two spiritual power totems in this, and they're just like, he's like, I don't want to hurt anybody. And she basically was like, oh, you're a bee. I thought you were more ambitious than this. I thought you had wolves. And he's like, oh,
that's so sad.
And I think that's why he's gonna flip out and start shooting those guys because they're gonna be like, he's gonna confront them and they're gonna be like, man, whatever. And he's just gonna be like, nope. That's my theory.
I like it. I'm with
we got a couple different theories in the chat. We got a couple.
Belinda.
Chelsea, Belinda.
Well, if I see Belinda go off, I mean, I've seen Sonic 2, so I love that actress when she gets to go off. If you've seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that's like my son's favorite scene, her wedding, where she like goes nuts. Yeah.
I love those movies, man.
Yeah, me too. I love the Sonic movies. They've really grown on me. But that's a good one. Belinda finally getting hers would be a good one. That'd be a really funny one. Who do you think is going to be in the body bag?
Definitely the dad.
I don't think so. I think the dad has the spiritual awakening. I think that's.
I do too, but I think he needs to go to protect his family and everything. He'll be like.
Well, I think he'll turn himself in. Yeah, I think he'll turn himself in and
just spend his life in jail
and take the hit for his family and tell them to kind of like be better. You know what I mean?
Be better than me. That's true.
And the wife will be confused, but she'll wake up and be like out of her haze and finally like start thinking about things again. And I'm sure the kids will separate out and to hopefully get away from one another. separate corners of the world. The brother stays in Thailand. Yeah. far away from each other. Like, yeah, please. So that's my prediction. But I've actually enjoyed this season more than I thought I did at the beginning. Like, it has grown on me, and this show, Mike White is just nuts. Like, this show, it's been different every time, the experience of it, but it just manages to become that pop culture zeitgeist thing. And the Monday memes of White Lotus are, no matter what's been happening, these things just give me renewed life every week, man. All right, that's it. You guys want to talk comics?
Yeah.
I'm gonna scratch the thing I had in here because that for time purposes most
the Venom thing.
The Mary Jane.
Go read Ultimate Spider-Man. Regular Spider-Man stuff is stupid. So
I mean, look, it didn't.
And it's not even real. I don't even
help that argument at all.
On this. We have a great article on this by the excellent David Harth, which is this is most likely not even. This is worse from Marvel because this is just rage bait engagement. Like, they're doing this because they know people will be pissed off, and they're not even going to keep it. Dylan will obviously become Venom. Like, that's what they're doing, and it's just Mary Jane's a placeholder. There is no future in which I see Mary Jane being a long-term Venom symbiote host. Yeah. It's just not a thing. It's also, just engagement.
It doesn't hold. It's okay. It's annoying for a lot of reasons, but one of them is also they've been teasing 4 people this entire time. Hey, it's one of these 4. Which one is it? And they've been slowly crossing names off the list. And then they go, surprise! It's this other person that wasn't in the list. Hey guys, it was my God.
That looks so disturbing.
Brywood has it right. We're all tiptoeing around the same thing. Like, Marvel needs editorial redirecting because this is crazy.
Also,
everything has been trash.
Several X books. We've talked a lot about X books on this. RIP to like NYX.
Oh, is that done?
Yeah, X-Force.
I actually like that one.
I think
X-Force was trash.
I think the Weapon X one, I think, was the other one. There was like multiple. I was sad because NYX I enjoyed. I'm not sure about Exceptional. I'm not sure about some of the other ones, but I know multiple X books.
X Factor runs. I did hear that.
X Factor.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was like, and ironically, I liked X Factor at the beginning. I
Well,
thought
this
that
is
was
what
doing
disturbs
something
me about this is like we're getting cooked on books that have conceptual frameworks that should actually be fun and work, and we couldn't even make those work. And it's like,
right.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right,
But
let's
if you
get
were missing Krakoa like me, I have you covered later. I got you covered at the
Marvel
end.
Rivals. Go.
But yeah, let's get into DC because
Kate, we gotta go back. We gotta go back to the island. Let's go.
Absolute Superman number 6
Janelle.
was the.
Let's let Janelle cook because she's probably got to run.
Yeah, it's so crazy because like I can't believe I'm saying this, but Green Lantern actually that's like fresh on my mind. Like I can't stop thinking about it. Although like Absolute Superman, this is the vibe for me. I just absolutely adore this. I don't like the way this is left off, and obviously like I hate that they're taking a little boy away from, well, I don't know how little he is at this point, but away from his newfound family, and that is just like killing me. It's very upsetting to see everything that this version of Superman has gone through. It is wild, like how much easier it was for Superman to just like be a baby and be raised by, different parents and not have all that emotional like strife of losing his planet and everyone he knows and loves and watching his parents perish. It's just like, dude, this Superman has so much trauma. It is just heartbreaking, but so well done. So I'm a big fan of this, but I'm also a big fan of the new book that you had us read as well.
Oh, we'll go into that.
Okay, Green Lantern. Very surprised. I don't know a lot about Green Lantern. I'm a Green Lantern noob. So obviously this is probably a alternate backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very different. Yeah.
So I'm digging it. I'm so curious what is going on. And I'm actually so surprised at how like serious it is with like a body like exploding on a motorcycle and blood going everywhere. There is it feels like adult content, and I'm about it. Like I actually feel like all of these absolutes are more like on the adult side of things, and I'm totally about this. So yeah, I'm so intrigued with Green Lantern and to like push through and keep seeing what that's about and like why he's crying at the end. Like what happened? I need to know like what's actually happening that led you to this diner. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just love all of these so much. I was asked the other day, are you reading this other comic? And I go, no, I'm just obsessed with the absolutes. Like I've been reading all of the absolutes, and that's kind of, I'm like dedicated to them. So very impressed.
Man, they're killing it. And just a preview of next week, Absolute Batman and the Ultimates, I believe, are the two of the books that come out next week, along with some other great stuff. Might even need to get some Transformers in here because there's a big issue of Transformers next week. But yeah, well, number one, if you want to learn more about Green Lantern, just let me know. I'll send you a list.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I love I was telling my mom today, she's visiting, and I was just like, man, I just love comics. And she's like, really? You didn't grow up reading comics? I'm like, I know. I hope it's something I can share with my kid because I love reading comics. I read comics before bed, and sometimes I'll fall asleep and drop the phone on my face. That's a wonderful feeling because when I'm watching TV or something, I'm trying to watch a show before I fall asleep. I have nightmares and it's terrible, but it's just so like warm and squishy and awesome. And I just love that I read comics now. It's like so exciting.
It's
part of my life.
So happy.
Yeah.
Let's move back to Absolute Superman. Kofi, what did you think?
Liked, we to Jason Aaron's credit, we put a pretty hefty bar in front of him because we were like, look, bro, we know you're playing with these timelines. We also feel like you're stalling and you're not getting to your central character. And we had beef with that. We can't have that beef really anymore because these last two issues have been absolutely Clark centric and kind of restored my confidence that Aaron has a roadmap to all this. And we haven't talked about it, but this was also an issue that even though we got this big flashback to Clark, we also ended with the first kind of hint that, and it took me a while to realize, like, I was like, oh, they've done a good job of each doing these books without any kind of, like, we talked about it a while back. We were like, we were noticing that these are each happening in a vacuum, but like how Superman's one thing was, we were also very curious about how this was happening on such a global scale, but like didn't seem to cross into other territories of the other books. Not so much anymore. Now I'm like, and it's like a good light bulb. It shows that there is a cohesive plan between each of them, as well as these individual plans they're on, because that one reveal at the end of that villain, and you're like, oh, okay, like Lazarus Corp, this villain, all of the implications about the larger kind of organizations that are at work in Batman, like all of this is now starting to come, and you're like, and it's not fully in a view yet, but you're like, okay, like I see where this is. I see where now a Batman Superman thing could be happening down the line, and where that confusion comes in. Like, who is Lazarus? Who is not? Like, who is who? Like, and all of that, or who gets kind of captured or weaponized, or like, all the numerous things that could happen here. So it was very exciting, but the Clark of it all, they nailed, I was like, they nailed one family story, right? So I was like, when you do the one family story so well, how do you do the other family story? But it's like that clip from Snoop and them. It's like, that man, don't miss. Don't miss. Because this issue was the Smallville of it all in a very different way. And it was like, what if two people, like, and this is very obvious parallels, if they discovered like an illegal alien child who was just, left here, and how would they care for him, and what would they do? And I think this issue did a good job on Martha Kent, who gets forgotten, just like both of these absolutes have done fantastic job actually putting spotlights on the mothers of these two people, whereas we're always almost gotten this weird patriarchal kind of connection with them. It's just like Bruce and, we know Thomas Wayne, but very little about Martha Wayne. We know and see Pa Kent and all those speeches, but even though Ma Kent is around, she's more of just like a MacGuffin. She's the thing Superman cares about and rushes back to protect. But these books have kind of really sketched out who these ladies are, especially Martha, since she's alive in Absolute Batman. But in this book, like, I don't think we remember like that, now that we're all parents, that like, part of that story is Martha and John not being able to conceive, them being like, in her as a woman, and what that must have been like. We just skip over that entirely because of who our society is. But now we're in this more modern place where that's like such a serious subject, motherhood, infant mortality. Like, we think about these things, we talk about these things now. Miscarriages, not being able to conceive, the difficulties couples have. And so like this book kind of like does brushstrokes of that, about why she attaches to this child, why she has this intense maternal kind of instinct with him, and even though she can't speak to him. And I thought that was the really powerful part, the language barrier.
Oh my God.
And
that
taking
part
is out of it. Like, and him, but his monologue of being like all that stuff, and because he's built with his parents, and we know, like, he comes to this place and he's like, oh, I don't know these people, but I recognize farmers when I see them. Like, and like, that was like such a powerful line of being like, oh, and this is why he bonds with him, and he knows they're like salt of the earth, good people, in his understanding of that. It's Superman on a much different level, right? Like, this is him kind of coming from these background of values he was instilled to, recognizing them in others, even though it's worlds away. And that's a whole other kind of level of why he's a protector and can do this. And is this person who can fly around space, go to any world, recognize the good in people, and wants to protect that. So, I mean, Jason Aaron's like basically rewriting this whole kind of thing. So
yeah, when we talk to Jason Aaron, we have an interview about the first arc, and then we've also got one of a little bit about Smallville as well. But when he was pitching the original arc and like kind of what his approach was, he was very much like, I wanted to tell like a true immigrant story. Superman's always kind of been an immigrant story, but it, like Kofi mentioned, it's always kind of been through the patriarchal 60s 50s lens, and that very much colored certain aspects of it. And so this is much more aligned with like what an actual, an alien comes from a different planet, and the translation thing alone, I thought was so well done. Like I thought that whole thing of having to really communicate on a different level, but again, very human things, right? These are just people. And so then it makes the moment when they are able to converse, it makes that moment so powerful. Like it's just a couple words, right? And it's so good. What's your name? That whole sequence where she's like, "What's your name?" and he tells her, he's like, "That sounds like a great." Like there's just so much emotion tied into that, and the conversations that they each have with Cal separately, individually, when she's like, "Man, you really brought him back," and then he's like, "Man, you really,
that's
like,
so
brought
cute.
back her."
That
It's
is some
so
long-term
good,
married people stuff. Like I was laughing.
yeah,
at that
like
scene.
they're confiding in him, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you really, like, that was the man I remember, and I didn't think I'd ever had it." And then he's having the same discussion.
But that's such a married thing to be like, that one totally would fall apart. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
it was
thanks.
so
That was a
real.
mess, total mess. And then the
Yeah.
other couple persons like that other one, total mess. Like, you know, woof. If I didn't hold it together, like, in every married couple person swears, the husband and wife each swears, or however your
Yes.
arrangement is like, I'm the one who's probably holding this together. Like, you know,
Yeah.
talk to two of them.
It was
You're like, oh.
It felt so real. And then also we
Yeah.
get these total ownage moments of when Soul wakes up, right? And is like, "Oh, let me take all those things out of the air for you." And like that all hits, and they're just, you know, man, there's so much incredible stuff. But I agree with you. Martha is the star to me. And that's why the stuff at the end also is like, we're continuing that thread. Because remember, we saw Martha way back in issue 1, and we know she still holds on. She was looking at that picture and like, she misses that, and now we understand why she looks at that period of time so much. And in the present, Clark, I'm so used to calling him that, but Cal has also returned to Smallville, and we haven't even seen what he's doing there. So there's just so much happening in this series, and I just adore it. All right, let's move to Green Lantern though, because I do want to
that was nuts.
touch on a couple points that Janelle made, right? Because this is a complete reinvention of what the typical Lantern thing is. When we talk to Al Ewing, which you can find on Comic Book Now, when we talked to him about this, it was like I wanted to see like what a real alien invasion style Lantern mythology was. Like, what if this, what if this came instead of the thing of where it's typically the ring and like, okay, like you're worthy and like you can, you are worthy and you're able to dispel great fear and all that stuff. That's typically tied to getting a ring, right? And in this, it's more of this like force and this power from beyond Earth, and it really impresses that, right, from every angle. And so having that, number one, kind of changes how you look at what being a Lantern is. But I've always, look, it's no secret on the show, Mike, right? I've always had, before this previous run of Green Lantern, I've always kind of not been a Hal Jordan fan. Okay. Like Hal Jordan has always not been this kind of benchmark for me as far as like Green Lanterns. It was like, I love Kyle, right? Kyle's my favorite Lantern. And I like a bunch of other Lanterns as well. And Hal was always like this person I'm supposed to like, but I kind of don't. And it was kind of like the popular kid in school who like everyone likes. You're like, I don't get it. They're kind of a jerk and they're cocky and they're all this stuff, right? And so I remember Al kind of saying like, wanted to see like, well, Absolute is very much always kind of the flip side. Well, let's see what that looks like for Hal. And boy, you can't get any more different in versions of Hal Jordan than you get here, and what he has to deal with and his abilities and powers and things like that. There's just so much happening there. Like, this is a very Hal Jordan centric issue, which is probably my only real issue, because like Joe Moline is also one of my favorite Lanterns. Shout out to Far Sector. And she just doesn't get as much screen time in this because it's very much a Hal Jordan building issue. But I do feel like that's necessary. We got to spend time there, right?
Well, I think he did a good fake out. I think Al Ewing did a great fake out on this, because I think most of us, because I didn't know anything about this coming in. I'm trying to stay as blank as possible on trailers, interviews, all that stuff. And so I was very interested in what they were going to do here. And so like, yeah, the alien invasion of it all is crazy. It's much more sci-fi horror in this, which was really interesting, because Green Lantern can get goofy, but like Jeff Johns and them tried to infuse some of that sci-fi horror element into it.
Yeah,
with the parallax and the Red Lanterns and all that.
Abin Sur, man.
Abin Sur, much different kind of guy in this, but the fake out with Hal Jordan was very good because you think this is going to be about Hal Jordan becoming Green Lantern somehow, but it's not. It's about Hal Jordan becoming, one of the more iconic villains from that, from that mythos. And then we get the turn at the end that it's, this other person has gotten the power of Green Lantern. So I liked that. And I think it builds up because I'm now interested in Hal Jordan as a villain again, because I feel like Al Ewing, like that Emerald Twilight run is trying to take us back there in a certain kind of way. So, and for everybody who doesn't get that reference, Emerald Twilight was his infamous 90s story where Hal Jordan went suddenly nuts and killed everyone in the Green Lantern Corps, destroyed the battery, broke Sinestro's neck, and then took the power and became a all-powerful cosmic villain for a while. But don't worry, he was possessed by a yellow space monster thing that, had
as
leached
someone
on
who
him.
loves Rebirth, they did an amazing job at rationalizing that and making that whatever. I still
they did like Mr. Miyagi style.
Yeah, that was wow. I still stand by that. Was until this current run. I got to give Jeremy Adams so much credit there. This current run of Green Lantern and what he's done with Hal Jordan, he's made me a Hal Jordan fan. I like Hal Jordan for the first time in years as a character, because they've been able to soften some of those edges that I didn't love, make him relatable in different ways. Carol has helped a lot with that too. So they've done a lot with that. But coming into that series, my favorite Green Lantern runs were when Hal was Parallax and how the whole Coast City and him just assembling rings. Hal has a dark history, right? And so that was what made him interesting for the first time for a lot of years for me. So yeah, so I dig what they're doing here. Real quick, because I know we got a jet. Let's get into Marvel Rivals. I want to talk Marvel Rivals because
I've been racking up MVPs. I'm coming.
It's happening. And my God, we got I'm so excited. It kicks off on April 11th. This will be the Hellfire Gala. Welcome, you disenfranchised X-Men fans like me. We are going to Krakoa. This is going to be Emma Frost is the new hero for the first part of the season. We're getting Hellfire Gala, kind of inspired gear. That Cloak and Dagger one's amazing. Emma Frost is a Vanguard. I'm so happy about that as mostly the Vanguard and healer player of my group.
Whoa. Stop. We are coming full circle in this episode. New screen, same thickness. What is going on with this Emma Frost design?
They looked look, man, Rivals
this is like the Instagram era version. Is this an Instagram era version of Emma Frost? What are we doing here?
Filters.
This is and by the way, as you can see, Ultron is also in this, and Ultron will be the second playable character in the second half of the season.
What is this?
Man, she looks awesome. As a huge White Queen fan, she looks awesome. But
Kardashian era White Queen for sure. This is nuts, bro.
They don't have it in this trailer because this was the opening trailer. But they have since released a gameplay reveal. And she looks awesome. She looks like she's gonna be kind of a powerhouse. That her ultimate is actually being able to kind of push people's actions, right? Because it's all based in the mind. There's a whole scene where she actually makes this whole group run off a cliff. And the ultimate, their ultimate ability. It's awesome. Of course, Diamond Form is also represented as well. Ultron, they have not revealed what his role will be. But I'm guessing duelist, because I don't know, he could be a strategist. We'll just have to wait and see. But the other big things that they reveal for this season, number one, starting from this season on, there will be a new season every 2 months instead of 3. So there will be 2 characters per season. That means we will get a new character for this game every month. For they've listened to the reactions, and this season I think hung on too long. I thought this season was a little bit too long because at this point I'm just earning things to redeem for credits. so I can buy costumes. And I've done that for like the last few. I beat the season a while back. So like I'm kind of sitting here for a month, like just stockpiling. I don't really have a lot new to do. And so they are going to shorten that time frame, give us more heroes. Obviously, Blade is on the way because we teased him here. I got to say, the new costumes, if you see the 90s X-Men, the yellow and blue suits for Magic and Psylocke, I'm stoked for that. They've also changed up team attacks. So they've added new team attacks. Janelle will be happy. Cap and Winter Soldier now have their team up attack, and it helps Winter Soldier. It helps Bucky a lot. They didn't have one before, which is nuts to me.
That's cool. I really need to play this.
I am regularly MVPing as Cap. I have mastered Cap, and I destroyed your entire team with Cap.
You will be happy for that team up.
Yeah, I get regular aces. I don't go for kills anymore. I'm going for aces. I want your whole team. Like, I'll take you out. If I have all my specials loaded up, I will be in the middle of your squad, and you'll be getting bounced with a shield and then beat up before you know what's what. Like, yeah.
See, we need to play. We need to play in a team together because I'm mostly a Magneto player or an Invisible Woman player. I like to heal.
I need a good Sue Storm. I love a good Sue Storm at my back. Yeah, man. I need that.
She's awesome. The other big thing though is a loss for me. They are also removing some team up attacks and switching things around. So for me, Magneto and Scarlet Witch, anytime I see a Scarlet Witch, I immediately change to Magneto so I can get that extra attack. That is gone. They are removing certain team up attacks from the game.
Good, because too many times. Too many people are trying to use this Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Sue Storm, Jeff the Shark combo to be this unstoppable team, and you can roll over everybody. That's why I jump in the middle and I beat Wanda to death the first chance I get every time. That's the two people you need to kill every single time are Wanda and Sue Storm on any team. Get in there, kill them. The whole thing starts to fall apart right after that.
If I see another Spider-Man player or Iron Fist player come after me when I'm Invisible Woman, I get so pissed. Like, dude,
they target you.
Leave me alone. They seek me out. I'm always like half invisible half the time because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get destroyed. Anyway, okay, so this is Marvel Rivals. I love this game.
It's a great game.
April 11th, the new season starts. We'll get all these kind of new costumes, and then Ultron. Hopefully, they will reveal his power set soon and what role he plays. But the fact that we're getting one hero a month is insane. I mean, if you think about Overwatch and the amount of content that they have gotten over the course of years, and we've literally gotten about as much content since December in this game. It's kind of nuts. So love what they're doing. We're getting more stuff. If after April 11th or on April 11th, you know where I will be. So I will be playing this game. So that is my agenda this week.
I think I'm going to jump in again. Battle Pass again. It was a good time. I've been surprised by how much I like this game, especially since I was like a big Overwatch head, and I didn't think they were going to do it as well. I was very skeptical when I saw the first kind of gameplay trailers for this. But then now that I've gotten in and mastered it and kind of figured out, the dynamics of the game, what a Vanguard is, like what everything is, it's very well balanced, very well put together, and you have some very exciting, epic fights in this. There are just games of this that you end cheering and, or on your knees in defeat. So, yeah, I'm digging it. I'm in. All right. Did we do it? Did we do the thing? Did we do everything? We talked about so much. Yeah, we did a lot of gaming talk this year, the show. Man. Clay, what was our button? What do we call our show?
Shout outs to the baby for continuing to sleep.
Nice. Shout out, little man.
Let's clap for that baby.
Yeah, your baby slept through those storms, which is crazy to me.
I can't believe it. It was nuts.
He has reached unbothered age. He's just too unbothered to be waking up. He's like, I ain't dealing with this. All right. We are Comic Book Nation. We are the official podcast of comicbook.com, where you can find coverage of all these topics that we discussed today and so much more at all times. You should also check out the comicbook.com page, where we have many videos and fun things, from interviews with the biggest stars to other shows like Character Sheet for our tabletop heads. And you can check out our Comic Book Nation page, where we have all kinds of fun extra bits that we're like the ESPN Plus of comic book. So you can find all kinds of extra bits and random bits over on our Comic Book Nation page. So check that out as well. We are here every Friday live at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We love our live show listeners. Thank you guys every week for getting up with us and cooking, Yeah, Bradwood, Alex Glean. I know you two know that I was crashing out during that whole Marvel Rivals White Queen thing. They know. Yeah, we will just keep that between us, but we know. All right, so yeah, shout out to all our live listeners. We love you guys. Shout out to the people who took off today and spent their day, stormy day, kind of hanging out with us. We appreciate all of you. Jacob, Matthew, over on YouTube, we showed have a good, restful day with your day off. And Matt and Janelle, I'm glad everybody's safe. I hope everybody continues to be safe. Everybody around Nashville, Tennessee, where we are based, I hope you guys are all doing okay. If you're without power, if you're dealing with cleanup, we hope you guys get that stuff done and have a somewhat relaxing weekend. All right, this is Comic Book Nation. We out. When we come back next week, I think we're going to be getting back to movies. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about White Lotus. Daredevil will be kind of reaching its end. We're going to be gearing up. Spring is in full season, and we'll be looking towards summer. So stay tuned for all of that.
Bye.
Shut up.